Hey everybody, this is Ron, and today I'm going to be reviewing Dune Part 2. I wasn't able to see it on opening night, but I feel like one day later isn't too bad for a regular guy like me with a full-time job, so I wasn't really too hyped on the movie, and I think that was because although I liked Part 1, there were some things that I think fell short with that movie. I thought it was good and not great, and some of the mystique was taken away because we've already seen what all the characters look like, and we've seen what the world that Denis Villeneuve created looked like already, so I wasn't super excited when the first trailer dropped, but I was proven wrong with this movie because I feel like he really went all out with this one, and I feel like the first part was just a warm-up. Okay, so let's get right into it. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm going to jump around a little bit, but I'll try to cover everything. So let's start with the opening. I think it was very clever the way they utilized Princess Irulan. You obviously can't do the little quotations that she writes in the beginning of some of the chapters in Dune, but instead they use her as a narrator, and she's almost like a reporter or a journalist covering the rise of Muad'Dib. So I thought that was very well done. The desert scenes look way better in this movie compared to the first one. The cinematography made it look much more like an exotic planet instead of just a regular desert on Earth. The Harkonnen soldier outfits looked way better than the Sardaukar outfits from the first movie. I hate to say it, but I just think they looked a little scarier. And I also love the visual of the suspensors that they use, especially in that opening scene in the desert where they're levitating up on a canyon to get away from a sandworm. I just thought it looked great visually. Timothée Chalamet has a lot more to do in this, and I think gives a better performance overall than the first one. And the slow progression of his character is also really well done. He was definitely a lot more confident in the role this time around. Stilgar was really great as well. I mean, Javier Bardem is a great actor, but there was a surprising amount of humor in there, which caught me off guard a little bit, but it worked. The one thing I'll say as a little bit of a criticism is some of the dialogue was too modern and real-world sounding for Dune. I know this is really nitpicking, but that's just the way I feel. I can't remember a specific line off the top of my head, but I know there was a couple peppered in there. But even a moment like Paul just saying the word shit when he was in the middle of a raid on a Harkonnen spice harvester seemed weird to me. It just seemed out of place for Dune, but I mean, this is just nitpicking. I was really surprised that Thufir wasn't in it, and I didn't notice until about halfway through the movie because I was so wrapped up in everything, but it makes sense. I guess there really wasn't enough time to add his little side story in there because for those who don't know, in the book, once the Battle of Arrakeen happens, he's taken away by the Harkonnens and used as their mentat, and he's drugged, poisoned to stay with them. And I guess it wasn't really needed in this movie, so I get it, but yeah, I missed him in this. Visually, overall, there was a lot more weird stuff in this, which I really appreciated, and that was a criticism that I had with the first one. I think some of it was a little bland, and Denis Villeneuve takes it up a notch in this, especially with the Gedi Prime stuff. I love the design of that planet, and the arena scene was amazing. All of the little stuff there I loved. Even the fireworks were so bizarre and unique. When they ignited, they were like this inky black firework. It was a very cool choice. And also there's an amazing introduction with Fayd. I love how weird it was. The chubby gimp guy presenting him his weapons and him just slitting throats randomly. It was really cool. And Austin Butler really impressed me. I like how he sort of adopted Stellan Skarsgård, the guy who plays the Baron. He adopted his accent, which I really appreciated because it just kind of made it more believable, like, oh, this is really his nephew. And he just did a really good job. He really surprised me. I haven't seen much of him in other movies, but he was really good in this. And also intimidating and believable, too. When he fights Paul at the end, I was scared for Paul, even though I know the outcome. It was just really well done. Also, a big change from the book is Alia isn't actually born in this. She's basically in the womb the whole time, but still communicates with Jessica, which was interesting. And I guess I understand that because it probably would be hard without CGI to have a newborn baby speaking like a 50-year-old woman. So I understand that. And then also, a lot of time passes in the original novel, and Chani and Paul have a son that they name Leto, and that didn't happen in this movie either. Lady Jessica is really great in this, and obviously her outfit is more interesting now that she's a Reverend Mother. Rebecca Ferguson did a really good job showing the evil aspects of the Atreides when she starts influencing some of the weak-minded Fremen, and it becomes clear that there really are no good guys in this story as much as you want to root for Paul to get revenge. And that's the whole point of the book as well. That's why I think the casting is really great, because Timothée Chalamet is very likable, and that's the trap people fall into when they get behind a charismatic leader like him. Some of the changes actually improved the story. I know that might be a little crazy to say, but I really believe that, at least for a film adaptation. Especially Paul coming in at the end and actually killing the Baron himself was much more satisfying because, you know, the Baron killed his father. And I just think it was better than a young Alia doing it in the book. I do have mixed feelings with Chani. I remember her kind of being more behind Paul a little more at the end, but in this they make her see through the lies of the prophecy pretty quickly. It definitely adds more drama to the movie, but I don't remember her feeling that way in the book. I feel like she was by his side through everything. Christopher Walken is serviceable. He's not in it that much, and the short scenes on Kaitane weren't really how I pictured that planet from reading the books, but I mean, these are, again, just minor things. I was critical of the first trailer because I felt like they showed their cards too quickly, showing that whole scene of Paul riding the sandworm. But the trailer on YouTube doesn't do it justice, because when you see it in IMAX, it's just so crazy, and the sound, the sand blowing into the camera, it was just incredible. So yeah, I mean, I really think this was a huge improvement over the first movie, which I really liked the first movie, and it was a good setup, but I feel like this movie gave me more of what I wanted. When I was watching the first part, I was thinking to myself, I don't know why, I just feel like something's missing here. Like I'm not totally satisfied. I'm not getting a certain aesthetic that I'm looking for. And this one really delivered on that. The visuals were amazing. The costumes were much better. Like I said, like Jessica in her Reverend Mother outfit was just visually much better and scarier at times. And Erlon's little headdress that she wore was interesting as well. These are things that I would like to see in a Dune movie, and I think Denis really got that with this one. There was also a couple really epic scenes with Paul once he's starting to really become Muad'Dib and become this legend. Particularly the scene where Raban tries to go face him head on, and all you see is Paul walking through like a dust storm or a sandstorm, and all the Fremen are just taking out the Harkonnen soldiers one by one, like easily, and you could just see the fear in Raban's face, and I just thought it was so badass. So moments like that were just completely epic, and yeah, this really delivered. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I could talk about this all night, but those are some of the main points that I wanted to get across for my first go at reviewing this. So let me know what you guys thought. I thought it was great. If I had to do it on a number system, 1 to 10, I'd give this a 9. There were just a couple little things that I didn't love, but it didn't really hurt the movie as a whole. So yeah, a huge improvement over the first one, and I really just want to go see it again because there were so many great moments in it. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and please be sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. Thanks for watching.